welcome and thank you for joining us for today's Appraisal Buzzcast. We have a great episode today with a published author. But let me bring in Hal Humphreys, our host, first. Hal, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. How are you this week?
Oh, I'm just doing awesome. Well, we have an awesome guest. Marcus Hill is a published author, and I'm going to bring him in right now so everybody can see him. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing
We're
great. Well,
doing.
how Marcus wrote a book, Assessing My Value, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about his history in the industry, and I'll let you take it away.
That sounds great. Thanks, Jim. Marcus, man, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I really appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about your history. How did you get into the appraisal business and some of your backstory?
Sure. So, you know, just like most appraisers, you rarely ever seek out to become an appraiser. It's usually you're always introduced to it, right? And so for me, my first goal I set for myself in high school was to go to college. And so once I went to college and got that goal out the way, it allowed me to be open, and I literally wanted to go into law, be an attorney. And so, you go through all this process of going all the schooling and you get ready to start, learning what you have to do to go to law school. And the bop gun happens. Like you're introduced to something that changes your entire world. And that's what happened to me the summer after I graduated college. I was literally 23, turning 24, and was introduced by a family friend uh, for just a summer job. He gave me an opportunity. Hey, you want to come work for me for the summer? And so I was like, yeah, what are you doing? And he was like, hey, I have an appraisal company. And so once I literally started training to just learn the things that you have to learn as an appraiser out in the field, taking the coursework, I literally found my passion. And it's just so crazy because I never sought out to be in this industry. And I sit here today, almost 20 years experience in this industry. And so today I'm very just excited to share more of my story. And I wanted to do that by publication. And yes, I do have a recent book out called Assessing My Value. And it literally gives you play by play of my journey, my story, getting into the industry right literally a month after graduating college. And so just very excited just about this industry to just even talk about it because it's so important, right? It's so important to the public, to have
Yeah,
people that know how to value properties and create that public trust.
I love it. I love it. Well, Marcus, let's do this real quick. I'm going to take a quick break and we're going to go to our first commercial sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Since 1978, LIA Administrators and Insurance Services has been offering E&O insurance to valuation professionals. LIA applies superior customer service, exceptional liability education from Peter Christensen, and unparalleled claim defense managed by Claudia Gaglione. LIA offers errors and omissions, commercial bonds, general liability, cyber liability, and real estate agents and brokers E&O. Visit liability.com or call 800 334 0652.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Hal Humphreys. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast. I've got Marcus Hill with me today. Marcus just had this book published, Assessing My Value. If you haven't got a copy of it, I recommend you pick up a copy of it. Marcus, why did you want to write this book?
I wanted to write this book because literally people have no idea what appraisers do, what the process of an appraiser, what they're looking for, or, just a mindset that you have to have. Within my experience, I have been a trainee. And so in this book, I kind of give you my mindset of just learning how to work with my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I give you my passion of really wanting to learn this industry in and out and literally start my own company. How I started my own company during the 2008 housing recession. And so, it's lots of different stories in my book that helped me learn how to navigate this industry. And so, But also, I've had the amazing opportunity to have been a part of one of the largest mortgage giants in America and have literally placed a value on a residential property pretty much in every state in America. And so I've had a huge amount of experience, but I bring it all the way back to just the education part, learning, continuing to learn into this industry and really let it work for you.
One of the things you talk about education, and as you and I think everybody is listening knows, Appraisery Learning is the company that I own. We are now producing the Buzzcast, and our motto has always been from day one: learn because you want to, not because you have to. And this book falls into that category. Take the time, if you're an appraiser out there doing this work, take the time to read Marcus's book, Assessing My Value. And Marcus, would you recommend that trainees pick up a copy of this book?
How I recommend a little bit. I wrote this book to kind of speak to different people, trainees, to people that want to run an appraisal company, but also to know that, hey, if running a company is not what's good for you, you can literally have the skill set to work for people that need your skills. And so I wanted to just kind of make the book readable for everybody, but especially trainees, because we have to, in this business, you have to get some type of mentorship and you have to learn how to work under a mentor and really provide some value, to your mentor, because they're literally taking the time to train you in a field where you have to learn a lot of information. And so it's so important to just really, you know that they are helping you and provide some value back to them.
I love it. Well, let's take another quick break and hear from one of our other commercial sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that NAN hosts quarterly discussions with our appraisal panel on bias, inclusion, equity, and diversity initiatives that impact the appraisal industry? The topic of bias in the appraisal world will remain at the forefront of legislative, agency, and lender priorities well into the future. At NAN, we believe that intentional bias is only a very small fraction of the underlying issue, and that outdated policies and regulations and unconscious bias are of far greater concern. It's our hope to work closely with the appraiser community as partners in an endeavor to improve processes and procedures and ensure equitable treatment for all valuations. Learn more by visiting nan-amc.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Hal Humphreys. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast. I've got Marcus Hill with me today. Marcus, longtime appraiser. At one point, he was the youngest owner of an appraisal business in the country. Marcus, you've been an appraiser for 20 plus or minus years. You've written a book. What's next for you?
Hal, I'm really very passionate about just sharing my story. Next for me is to really, go to colleges, go to community organizations, just sharing my experience, my story, and my passion and love for this business. Because I think a lot of people, they have to get an appraisal typically if you're getting a mortgage, right? And you just see people kind of walk in the house, do what they need to do, and walk it back out. But I literally would love to just share, some of the things that I found so interesting about the business, learning how to measure properties, learning how to pull sales, and just really, learning how to describe a property or just the industry itself. It's just a beautiful industry. And, moving forward, I just want to be able to, support and share my experiences, my stories with the next generation and just anyone.
I love it. I love it. People in this business for a long time, like myself, like you, it can sometimes be difficult to maintain that excitement, that passion for the business. I've never used the word passion myself. I like to keep business and passion a little bit separate, but I get it. And here's the thing, just hearing you talking about the excitement of describing the property, the fun part of going and looking for comparable sales. It really is a fun job. It's a fun way to earn a living, and it's entertaining, and it engages all of your intellectual senses. And I think it's good for us to remember that. Jim Morrison, do we have an anonymous appraiser question today?
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you that don't know, the anonymous appraiser is you can write in to comments@appraisalbuzz.com and we'll ask your question to our guests of the week. This one says, currently working in a rural area but contemplating moving to a bigger market. Have you done this, and what are some of the pros and cons of switching your market after becoming proficient in it?
I'm gonna take a quick stab at that, Marcus, and give my perspective. Then I want to hear what you have to say. Here's the thing: we're real estate appraisers. The theories of valuation don't change regardless of where you are. I think it is totally possible to go from a rural area to a more urban area, but you have to study the market. We have this little thing called geographic competency we have to be aware of, and we have to meet. So I think if you're a good, strong, solid appraiser, it doesn't matter where you're working. You can learn how to apply those skills pretty much anywhere in the country. Marcus, what are your thoughts?
I totally agree with you, Hal. I would just add that, the beauty about this industry is definitely learning different markets, but also you can do multiple things in the appraisal industry. You can definitely find different management companies that service the area you're moving to. Also, you can reach out to attorneys and become a networking there to provide appraisals and services for us. So it's just multiple ways that you can leave one place and go to another place and be successful.
I love it. Jim, do we have anything else we need to cover today?
No, that's it. We'll put a link to Marcus's book if anybody wants to check it out and buy it. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am Hal Humphreys for Jim Morrison and Marcus Hill. That is your appraisal buzzcast for this week.